Continued coverage this morning on a major discovery in the disappearance of Suzanne Morphew. 3 years of searching and investigators finally found skeletal remains.
Suzanne disappeared from her home near Salida back in 2020. Deputies found her remains during an unrelated investigation in Saguache County near Moffett.
9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us with more on this major discovery. Good morning, Courtney.
Yeah, good morning. They found her remains actually in an unrelated investigation. A source close with the case told us that they found skeletal remains and identified Suzanne based on dental records and her cancer report. Suzanne's husband, Barry Morphew, was eventually arrested and charged with her murder. Those charges were dropped last year before the trial started. Prosecutors had said they wanted to wait to go to trial until they found Suzanne's body.
If additional evidence points at Barry Morphew, the prosecution's not really going to have any problem at all refiling the charges. The case was dismissed without prejudice. On the other hand, if someone else is implicated, all of the evidence that seemingly pointed at Barry Morphew is going to be used by the defense.
In the past, prosecutors have said if Suzanne's body were to be found, examination could either implicate or rule out Barry. He released a statement through his attorney yesterday saying in part, quote, "Barry is with his daughters and they are struggling with the immense shock and grief. As of now, no one has been charged since her remains were found." Corey, Jordan.
It's so interesting that they found her remains while they were saying they were out on a different investigation. Have they said what they were looking for in that investigation?
So far, no one's saying much about this investigation yet. We've reached out to CBI, also the Sheriff's Office and the DA. So far, no one has said anything.
And of course, we're going to have a lot more coverage on this case, including what happens next for Suzanne Morphew's husband, Barry. We're going to be sitting down with our legal analyst on KTVD to get you some of those answers, Courtney. Thank you. The DA handling this case is facing investigations of her own. A state council is looking to allegations of misconduct against DA Linda Stanley after a complaint by Barry Morphew's lawyers. Back in April, his attorneys asked the Colorado Supreme Court's Office of Attorney Regulation Counsel to investigate allegations of unethical behavior. That group has the power to discipline attorneys. The council has censured Stanley for misconduct in a previous case. Barry Morphew is also suing the DA along with state and federal investigators over his arrest. Now, as this case continues to develop, you can stay up to date by downloading our 9 News app. There you can see the full timeline of this investigation so far and more about Suzanne's lasting memory.
An update this morning, investigators have tracked down the car involved in a deadly hit and run over the weekend, but they have not found the driver who hit and killed a woman outside Children's Hospital, Colorado. Aurora police say someone hit and killed a woman crossing Colfax outside the hospital around 3:45 on Saturday morning. Investigators found the driver's black 2016 Ford Explorer after putting out a Medina alert asking for the public's help. Right now, investigators and family members are asking for help to find who killed 2 friends in Aurora. The shooting killed 27-year-old Kwan Mays and 25-year-old Omar Williams. Police got a call after someone found 2 men lying in an alley near 22nd and Galena. Police say they were shot somewhere else and their bodies were dumped in the alley. Omar's parents say he was on a 1-year break from college and was supposed to graduate next year. Omar's dad says his life was cut short 1 week after his birthday.
We're talking about a young man who would give you the shirt off his back. A young man who's never gotten into a fight a day his whole life. A young man who always saw things in a positive manner.
The suspects were last seen driving a silver Dodge Journey SUV. If you have any information, call Aurora Police.
2 schools in southeast Aurora went on lockdown yesterday afternoon as deputies arrested a student on the football field. Eagle Crest High School and Thunder Ridge Middle School next door couldn't let anyone in for about 30 minutes. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says school resource officers arrested a 15-year-old Eagle Crest student. They won't tell us exactly, though, what led up to the arrest. This morning, a judge is reviewing the competency of the suspect accused of killing 10 people in a Boulder King Supers.
This week, the judge heard evidence about whether the suspect can go to trial. A psychologist testified the suspect was hallucinating and wanted officers to kill him on the day of the shooting back in March of 2021. His trial has been on hold because health experts thought the suspect wasn't able to participate in his defense. An evaluation last month found he is finally competent to stand trial. The forensic psychologist who performed the exams told the court the suspect's thinking is more reasonable now that he's being forced to take medication for schizophrenia. The defense argues the suspect has a serious mental illness and a little improvement isn't enough. Now it's on the judge to decide whether his case can move forward. That ruling is expected sometime in the next week.
New overnight, new video shows U.S. soldier Travis King is back in the U.S. after North Korea expelled him. His flight arrived in San Antonio, Texas around midnight our time. Private King ran into North Korea from the south on July 18th while on a civilian tour. He was immediately taken into North Korean custody. Now King is being taken to Brooke Army Medical Center where he will undergo post-isolation support activities. Those help prisoners of war and wrongfully detained Americans reacclimate to being in the U.S.
7 Republican presidential hopefuls went head-to-head in their second debate. Last night, we heard things like securing the southern border and American economic growth. Former President Trump wasn't there, instead on a trip in Michigan. And that didn't stop those on the stage from calling him out. We'll have more from last night's debate coming up in about 5 minutes. Right now, the government is heading towards a shutdown. Just 3 days remain to pass a spending package before funding runs out. The White House is calling on House Republicans to back the Senate's bipartisan stopgap bill that would temporarily keep the government running. But members of the House aren't showing signs of compromise. Among the potential impacts of a shutdown, federal workers, active military members, and Border Patrol agents will go without pay. The post office and the airports will stay open. Another problem, the Child Care Stabilization Grant Program is set to end this weekend. That means more than 70,000 child care programs might also close. That's according to an analysis by the Century Foundation. The organization says about 3.2 million children would be kicked out of daycare when the program ends. The historic federal program is part of the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act passed in 2021.
And one thing you want to know about the weather is we end one month and begin the next this weekend. The last day of September is Saturday, 87 degrees with partly sunny skies. First day of October is Sunday. Not a lot of change, 85 degrees with mostly sunny conditions.
Thank you. Overall, not a bad start to the drive. We've got one crash on westbound 76 just outside of Commerce City this morning. Right around Highway 2, a little bit after at Sable Boulevard, causing about a 5-minute delay for your drive into Commerce City right now from E470 on westbound 76.
Peggy and Gronk, I love it. I love Peggy. She's so awesome. We're counting down the days until the next Buffs game. Happening today, Big Noon Kickoff is heading back to Boulder. The show posted this hype video on Instagram showing all the highlights from the last time Big Noon Kickoff was in Boulder.
I'm glad Peggy's getting the recognition she deserves.
She is the biggest star.
She's been a fan through and through, right? Many big names, of course, showing up like Lil Wayne, The Rock, even Gronk, who we saw dancing with superfan Peggy Copham. Big Noon Kickoff national broadcast is Saturday morning. Last time we saw fans packing fair and filled as early as 4 in the morning. Doors open at 5 o'clock. The show starts at 8 o'clock. That's on Saturday. The Buffs will be hosting USC. Game time is at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Of course, the big question after the Oregon defeat last weekend is what adjustments are we going to see Coach Prime and the team making?
Was that just a blip in the season? I would like to just forget that game because leading into it, they looked pretty good, you know, and I feel like the hype is still there. So I think they're going to do great.
I think so too.